NRL Fantasy Round 18 is in the books, and it was a week where you wanted to score about 1,000 points. So if you scored 1,000 plus, you went right up the ranks. I've seen a couple of scores above 1,100 as well. My team posted about 950. I moved down to about rank 179, but hopefully it was a better week for you. Now, recap of this week. First game, we're going to jump right into it here. Parramatta Eels versus the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And it was a big one for Latrell Mitchell to kick us off. 70 fantasy points in this one. Grabbed a try, had a ton of involvement. Look, he absolutely dominated Parramatta. Some unfortunate news for Latrell. He is out injured for at least 4 weeks now. Could be longer than that as well. They're getting this checked out by a specialist. It's a bit of a foot injury, so that does hurt the Blues, and it does hurt you as well if you do have Latrell in your fantasy side. Jai Gray will be the guy who steps into that role, and he's been really good in that role previously, so I reckon he'll show out. And at 330k is an option we're going to look at. Koloamatangi, 69 points, big score for him. Jack Whiten burst out 2 tries, 67 points, dominated in this game. We've got RCG with 66, grabbed a try, 62 minutes is big minutes for him as well. Jacob Gagai feasted on that right edge, 63 points here. Jai Arrow, 60 points. Gutho, 57. Maddo, 53, 70 minutes for him on the edge. Great buy if you got on him. Both these teams play next week as well. So if you've got players from these teams, you're going to love them in round 19. Cam Murray, 80 minutes, 52 points. Play on the edge is not ideal for him, but hopefully he moves back to lock for us in fantasy. Cook got 47. Blaze Talangi grabbed the try, 44 points. Dylan Brown, 42 is not super exciting. Cartwright, 40 points with the try. Try definitely saved the day for him. Cody Walker down to 35 points. Panasini, 32. If we get down the list here, Brandon Hands, 28 points. It's neither here or there. Mitch Moses, bit of a disaster for him, 18 points, but he's going to come out and win for the Blues anyway in Origins, so might be a bit of biased from me, but hey, it's that time of year. And then down the bottom here, Johnston, Russell, Arthur, nothing to really report in terms of fantasy relevance down there. Next game here, Sharkies and the Titans, and we'll fly through these guys here. Britton Nakora, 69 points. He's been a force for the last couple of weeks. Look, Nakora's great. When Nico Hines comes back, he runs great lines. He's a very explosive player. Can score a try. Didn't need a try in this game, but he's absolutely flying. Keanu Key, 62 points. His average is up to 50 now, which is crazy considering he started the year with like 3 18s in a row. But he's been on fire. I don't know. He should have been on my watch list ages ago. But I got to say, I've completely missed this one. I didn't think the form turnaround was real. That one's on me. Down the list here, Ramian, 58. Randall, 57. Talakai, big score. McInnes, solid as well. Nico Hines, 52 points, saved his day with a try. It was pretty dodgy, 52 points. Look, he's a gun player, and he's one of the best players in fantasy for a reason. That average is still 64 points as well. He averages about 64 when he plays next to Trindle, too. I think it might even be higher than that. So I'm not thinking that Nico's going to be falling off a cliff like this for the rest of the year. I think he'll bounce back next week, and he's probably going to be my captain in round 19, regardless of what we've seen recently. So I think the form will pick up for Nico. That's my hope here. Down the list here, Dave Fafita, 51 points. Look, not inspiring, but no attacking stats in this one. So, 51 plus attacking stats is a pretty good base there. Then Verrills, Clark, Foran, all pretty good. Kale Iro, 42 points. He is so consistent. Down the list here, who have we got to look at? Bo Firma played center, scored 33 points. Not ideal. Will Kennedy, Pahulu, yeah, okay. Khan Pereira. I do love watching Khan Pereira, but not relevant for fantasy. Atkinson, 16 points with a try. Not ideal again. So, yeah, no one else really to report on in this game. We'll move through to the next one here. So, Broncos and the Panthers, and Reece Walsh came out and came to play, right? Top 5 fantasy score this week. I think he was the 3rd highest scorer with 81 points. This is a great game from him. Looks super explosive. That pace was on show when he ran around Edwards as well. If you're looking at guys for the run home, especially at wing fullback, no Latrell now. So Tedesco is obviously that number 1 guy right now. But is it Dylan Edwards next? Is it Reece Walsh? You're looking at Brian Toe. Like there's quite a few options we can sort of weigh up here at the wing fullback spot. But Reece Walsh is one option we can explore. Dylan Edwards, 62 points in this one. No tries. So again, a pretty impressive score. His scores do drop when Cleary comes back. Keep that in mind because he's goal kicking right now. You can see here, 10. Wait, no, who we got? Only 1 goal, actually. So only 2 points for a goal. But hey, the goal kicking has helped him quite a bit through this period as well. Isaiah Yeo, 59 points, rock solid. Payne Haas, 56 points. 2 guys that I'll be targeting around 20 or around 21. And then down the list here, Scotty Sorensen played 80 minutes, scored 50 points. We love to see that. Rolling down the list here, Carrigan played on the edge, so I wouldn't worry too much if I was a Carrigan owner, but 44 points is not ideal. Isaac Tungo, 42 points, back to a bit of form, and Cleary comes back in round 20, so I'm going to be getting Isaac Tungo pretty soon. Well undervalued. And then down the list here, I mean, who else are we looking at here? Down the bottom, there's not really too many relevant guys. Jock Madden picked up an injury. That means that Rogers will probably come in. Pia Kura, 9 points. Look, sometimes fantasy doesn't reflect real life. So Pia Kura, he's a good player in real life. I do want to hammer that. I know a lot of us fantasy coaches where we look at the fantasy scores, right? But for Pia Kura, it was a tough one here. You know, you've got the 10 missed tackles. You got an error there as well. Just a couple of negatives that dropped him down. But he's a young guy. I think he's going to have a great career. So keep an eye on him. He might be a guy we actually get into our fantasy teams next year as well. But for this year, looking pretty dodgy. Next game here, and this was a cracker of a game, probably one of the best games I've watched in recent history. So the Dogs got up. Obviously, Matt Burton took him home against the Warriors, and Mitch Barnett, what a score, 110 points here. So trying to remember here, it was about 250 run meters, 56 tackles. We had 5 offloads in this game. He didn't score a try, so he had a try assist in this game, but it wasn't a big attacking stat day for Mitch Barnett. It was all base stats. And yeah, look, if we're looking at him, I like the dual position. He's playing Origin now, which is a bit of a downside. But the question is he a keeper for the rest of the year? So would you get him over a guy like Payne Haas or over a guy like Isaiah Yeo, Angus Crichton, one of these players? I think he's in the conversation. So look, 54.9, it's not the highest average, but at the same time, his recent form has been crazy. It's a couple of big scores back to back, and there's no reason why he can't keep this up if he's going to play 80 minutes. So we'll talk about that in more depth for round 20, but Mitch Barnett is a guy you have to have your eye on. And if you can get him cheap in a draft league, which you can't, but if you could, go and do that as well. Josh Curran and Max King both posted big scores here, 76 and 74 points. Matty Burton, 67, huge game from him. Fanua Blake back to form, 66 minutes and 65 points. We love to see that. Dylan Walker played huge minutes. Obviously, Tohu Harris was out of this game. Do I believe that we should be jumping on Dylan Walker? I mean, if Tohu is out long term, it actually could be worth considering, but I don't think Tohu is going to be out long term, so I might skip that one. Capewell had a big game, 60 points, covered the centers as well. He looked really good in real life. He'll probably sort of be undervalued at 433k, but it's the wrong time of year to be buying guys like that, so I'm probably going to skip this one. Reed Marnie, 59 points, solid from him. Down the list here, Sexton had a better game. Karaz, 52 points. Tuilasa-Sheck played more fullback, scored 51 points. He's getting pretty cheap too, so could be a pod we look at, especially if he keeps that fullback spot. Then Wade Egan, 51 points. Again, big minutes for him. The Warriors had a lot of injuries, which meant he played huge minutes compared to what he's been doing recently. Ford, 49 points. We've got Tavanga, Martin, 42. Harris Tavita, 41 points. Yeah, he's been pretty solid recently as well. Then down the list here, who else have we got that's worth noting? Watani's Lesniak, 34 points to the try. He's been getting pretty cheap, but probably not worth looking at. And then Nickel Clockstad, 10 points. Only played half the game. That's a tough one if you have him. He is a firm sell in my mind. Obviously, it's about 4 weeks on the sideline. So, yeah, time to go. All right, Tigers and the Storm, and this was a bit of a closer game than the score suggests here. So this is a real tussle for a while. The Storm sort of broke away. The Tigers fought back, and the Storm really closed it out. So from this one, Wishart, 70 points. Again, this guy just keeps on pumping out big scores. Priced at 618k, had a break even of 32 points. He's going to go up even more. He'll be like 700k, and he's going to be, when you're trading him to a guy like Cleary, who's 860k or whatever it is, it's not very expensive at all. So you're going to be paying, 200k to go Wishart to Cleary? That is crazy. He's done a job for you. Look, he scored a try in this one. He had 6 goals. 29 tackles is crazy with only 1 missed tackle. And 100 meters plus run again. Pappenhausen, 64 points. Had the 2 try savers. Had the try as well. 3 line breaks. 7 tackle breaks. Look, Pappenhausen was looking at his best. He nearly had a couple more tries in this game actually as well. But got close and didn't quite get those ones down. So it could have been an even bigger score for him. Buller, 62 points. Look, he's a bit up and down, right? So I love Buller as a talent. Doesn't always get the opportunities, though, depending on how games go. Then Pole, 61 points at the try, big minutes. Eli Katoa, 58 points, another try. Started really hot, cooled off a bit in this one. Galvin, 56. He keeps getting it done. Coruscant, 55. And Coruscant's a guy, if you're looking for a hooker this week, don't mind that at all. When the Tigers are competitive, Coruscant is a great option at hooker. Anderson, 47. We've got Hughes with a 46. Now, for Hughes, I don't know. Look, 2 try assists in this game, but not a huge attacking day out. Scrolling across here, 293 kick meters as well isn't massive for him too. So we look at Hughes, 46 points. You might be upset, but he's done a great job for us recently. So I'm happy to cop that one. As long as you didn't captain him, you're not too upset. And even if you did, look, he scored 5 points less than Dave Fafita, Nico Hines, all these guys. It doesn't make a big difference in fantasy season. Rolling down the list here, Johnny Bateman, 39 points in 80 minutes is a bit disappointing. Dewey, 38 points at center. It's a bit more expected there. Samuel Afainu with 38 points, 31 tackles here, 143 run meters. Just had a few negative stats and not any of those sort of explosive breakout plays. That's the key for him. He needs 1 or 2 of those big runs or some offloads or something like that for his score to bounce up. But I'm loving what I'm seeing from Samuel Afainu. Suafea Longo played 43 minutes and scored 36 points with 2 tries. He was so explosive in this game. And yeah, look, there's a reason why Melbourne are forcing him into that team, even off the bench. Howarth, 34 points. Sean Bloor, 33, less minutes. He's a guy I'm probably going to sell pretty soon. I'm pretty disappointed by the minutes. I love Sean Bloor. I love the role he plays. I love him next to Munster, but the minutes aren't good enough. So probably time to go. Itoka Manu, 28 points. Again, didn't go his way. Not ideal for you as a fantasy owner. Probably one you want to sell in round 20. And then going down to the bottom of the list here, Sofa Solomona picked up an injury there. Fair Tape, another lower score for him. And yeah, nothing else really too crazy to talk about here. Garlic could not back up that huge score from last week with Harry Grant being out. Grant should be fine for Origin, but if not, actually, apparently he won't be fine for Origin. Hopefully he's good for round 20. That's the goal there. I think it's some sort of scratch up or niggle. It doesn't sound like it's super serious, but if it's not to keep him out of Origin, then Harry Grant, if you're a Harry Grant owner, you might want to be. I don't know, if you've held to this point, you're probably going to hold on to him. I'm looking at targeting him actually for round 21 because he's at such a good price. All right, Cowboys and the Seagulls up next here, and Ruben Cotter, another big scorer for this week. I think he was in the top 10 this week, so 78 points. Look, for him, you get 48 tackles, you got 130 run meters, and you got the try as well. That just bumps the score up. It's really simple math for Ruben Cotter. He does a lot of work, and when he gets a try, it explodes. Nanai, another big game for him, 71 points. DCE was dominant in this game and dominant in fantasy with 69. Ruben Garrick as well, 69, huge game for him. Olakawatu, not picked for Origin, so if you need a back rower this week, big pod Olakawatu. Could be a big pod for you. The average, 53.8? If you like him and you like Manly, he'll be available this week. I don't mind this at all. Jason Saab, 3 tries for him, 63 points. We've got Nathan Brown, had a big game again, 59 points. He is on fire through this Origin period. It's too late to go and buy him now, I would say. Like, he's going to bump up in price too much again. He'll be 400k plus. It's too expensive. Scotty Drinkwater, 52. Tolu Kola, 51 points here. So, look, you got 7 tackle breaks, and you have 309 run meters. And I want to talk about this because Tolu Kola, he is currently ruled to be out for about 4 weeks with an MCL injury. It sucks. As a Kolu truther, and I'm a big fan of Tolu here, it's a tough one to swallow because he's had a shot at that fullback spot twice this year, and both times has picked up a mid-game injury, which has knocked him out of that spot. Both times has dominated though, right? So 300 meters plus, and he has so much attacking ability. It's a tough one to swallow, but he's going to be a sell. And if you bought him this week, it's really tough. If you bought him a while ago and held on to him, it's still quite frustrating, but at the same time, this guy's going to get a shot at some point, and he is someone I'm going to keep my eye on. And if he gets that fullback spot again, I'm probably going to fall for it again. I'm just being transparent here. I just like the talent too much on this guy. All right, Luke Brooks, 50 points. Robbo, 49. We got, who else we got to talk about here that's relevant? Tommy Turbo came back, scored 42. At center, I don't know. He might get that center dual position, which is kind of cool, but probably not that relevant. Jake Simpkin, 42 points here. So he got some more minutes because Ben Trebojevic went off and Lawton, I believe, went to the edge back row spot, which meant that Simpkin got more minutes at hooker. So 42 points, 68 minutes, a little bit inflated. He's probably more like a 35 to 40 guy is my expectation. Then Sipley, 40 points, pretty solid in 42 minutes. Down to the bottom list, Talau, obviously the legend here, 38 points, getting it done. Some very solid defensive plays from Talau in this game. Not a lot of attack, but defensively he was on song there. Val Holmes, 32, getting a bit cheaper. Could be an option for the run home. Then down the bottom of the list here, no one's super relevant to talk about. Lehigh Hopewadi, getting a bit cheaper there. Actually, you know what? The break-even's 7 anyway, so he's still going to go up in price, but he's a guy who probably gets that fullback spot back pretty soon. Then next game here, we've got the Roosters and the Dragons, and the Chookies, they tore up in this game. They carved up. Tedesco, massive score. Scorer number 2 this week. He was just behind Mitch Barnett, but 97 points in this game. He had about 350 run meters. He was on fire. 10 tackle breaks. He had the try assist, the line break assist. Teddy was everywhere. He was a big part of the reason the Roosters dominated in this game. And looking at him, what's his price going to be? He's going to be about 820K next week. It's very expensive, but he is looking like the top keeper option at the wing fullback spot. And as someone who's had him from round 1, I'm very happy to see him paying off. Lindsay Collins had a big game as well, 75 points, had the try, 33 tackles, 7 tackle breaks, 120 run meters. Been a quiet game for Collins, quiet year, for Collins this year in terms of fantasy production, but I do think he has that gear in him. I just don't think the minute's going to come in this Roosters pack, so I'm going to skip him in my head. Gassy Crichton, look, he's been getting down in price here. So break even was 87 points, scored 73, so you won't drop too much cash. But I don't know, you're going to be looking at him after Origin for about 750K. It's a pretty good price. He's a guy who, look, 55.1, that's a pretty fair indication of what he's going to do for you. He has some big upside as well, and the Roosters are playing good footy. Again, Gus Crichton's probably a guy I'm going to target in this post-Origin period, maybe for round 20, potentially for round 21. We'll see how it plays out. Terrell May, this guy keeps on firing, 69 points. As soon as we all sold him, he just went off. So, hey, you can't win with this one. If you still have him, congrats to you. Connor Watson, 65 points. He is a bona fide top tier gun. He may get hooker eligibility at some point if he plays some more time in the hooker spot, but it looks a little unlikely with the fact that he's playing so much lock. So with Connor Watson, look, 48 tackles, 173 run meters, basically no attacking plays at all. 65 points. He is automatic and has much more upside than that. Ben Hunt, 62. Luciano, 52. Sam Walker, 51. Who else is worth talking about here? We've got Jacob Little, 47 with the try. Played less minutes. Eisenhuth, 43 in 37 minutes, but not enough minutes again. Dom Young scored the try, 41 points here. Going down the list to Bellin, 38 points. It's a bit disappointing for us to Bellin owners, but hey, look, if he can turn it on for round 19, we can sell him in round 20. That's my plan anyway. I'm sure if you have him, you're thinking the same thing. And then down the list here, Tupanua's been actually quite good at center, but won't have the spot for long enough for us to consider that. Let's see. Keary, Jennings, Sloan, Sewer. Sewer was a bit cheaper. He has some big games and some small games. Zach Lomax, 25 points. The break even was 31, so he's going to drop down in cash a little bit, but probably not enough to consider. But he could be an option you look at wing fullback as well if you think St. George will go on a tear to finish the year. Brand Smith, less minutes than you'd expect there. And then down the bottom here, Flanagan, Brown, King. Yeah, nothing crazy to talk about down there. All right, then the Raiders and the Knights. And this one was an interesting one. Quite a few storylines to talk about in this game. So first one, Dan Gagai, 80 points. Again, top 5 scorer of the week. Look, scored 2 tries. Well, let's see the stat line, actually, because Gagai, you have the 2 tries. You have 10 tackles, 10 tackle breaks. 2 offloads, a forced turnover, and 200 plus run meters, right? So Gagai does this every week. You just throw in the extra points for the 2 tries. That's basically the only difference. He is pumping out a big average, 51.9. It's him, right? So Gagai is that one of those top centers in fantasy, and he's there for a reason. Tomoko, solid score from him too, so we could look at that, but still no attacking stats. That's the problem, right? So Tomoko has been very quiet this year, 41 average, when he's a guy who can average quite a bit more than that. Just not getting the ball this year that he was in previous years. Tarpane, 57, rock solid. Ethan Strange had a great running day out. Let's see it actually. Yeah, so 134 run meters, 9 tackle breaks. He was very hard to put down in this one. We've got Greg Marzu, 55 points, had the try here, 245 run meters. Again, look, he was hobbling around a bit towards the end of the game, so keep an eye on that. He might have picked up an injury, a fresh injury, which is a really tough one if you did buy him, but no, hopefully, look, he played out the game, so hopefully it's not major, and hopefully he's in next week for you. But just keep that in mind. It could be a problem for you going forward. Then down the list here, Starling put up a big game, 76 minutes, 51 points, rock solid, 54 tackles, 49 run meters. He is a guy you can trust at that hooker spot right now. If he keeps those minutes, he's an option that he'll go up, 200, 300K, and he'll be a guy that you could put in your bench pretty comfortably. Will Price, 49 points, and really no attacking stats here. So 31 tackles, 114 run meters, 237 kick meters. Price had some really good moments and some really bad moments in this game, which, look, he's a rookie. It's going to happen. You can't overreact to these things. But I reckon the Knights are going to persist with him. I think he'll be the guy they stick with in that role. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what he can do, especially next to Kalen Ponga. Then down the list here, we got Brayley, had bigger minutes in this one, 46 points. KO Weeks scored the try. It was a big runaway try, got himself 46 points as well. Let's see the numbers here because 223 run meters looks great, but there was a big, 80-meter run in that. But still, even if you took that out, you're looking at about 140, 150 run meters. So KO Weeks super involved in that spot. Probably not a reliable fantasy scorer for the run home, but he's looking good at fullback regardless. So good for him. Kalen Ponga, if you brought him in, 44 points it's fine. It's not what you were hoping for. You were probably hoping for more, and he's looking like playing Origin as well. So he'll be out this week for round 19. He'll be back for round 20 if he backs up, and he'll be out in round 21 again because the Knights have the bye then too. So look, Ponga has not really panned out if he plays Origin for you. That's a tough one to swallow there as well. Brad Best, 43 points. Kai Pierce Paul, 41. And then down the list here, who else is relevant? Who are we looking at? Dylan Lucas, less minutes for him, 32 points. Down the bottom of the list, who else we got? Fletcher Sharp, worth noting this. So, because Kalen Ponga will play Origin, it is good news for Sharp owners. He'll get another shot. He'll play fullback in round 19, I would expect, which is going to mean we get a big score out of him. I would say, a 40-point game. If you go into the player profiles here, you can actually see that. So for Fletcher Sharp, look at the fixtures here. I'm just going to jump down. We've got a game against the Seagulls in round 19. The Seagulls were really struggling last game out without DCE, without Jake Trebojevic, without Olakawatu. He will play this one. Without Turbo, but again, he's back for this one too. So I'm expecting a bit of a shootout in this game. Hopefully a big score for our man Fletcher Sharp. Anyway, that's my recap for round 18. Hopefully it was a good week for you guys. It was a pretty solid week for me, 950 points. Moved up the ranks. Moved back in the ranks a little bit, but still in a good spot. So I'm feeling good for round 19. Hopefully it pans out well for you guys too. Good luck.